You're watching NBC4 Connected. Live from the area's leading news station, this is News 4 Today.
Good morning. Welcome to Viewpoint on this Sunday morning. I'm Joe Krebs, and today we're going to be talking about Ayuda. We're talking about defending the legal rights of immigrants here in the Washington, D.C. area. We'll talk about immigrant issues as well, but right now I'd like you to meet the people who are going to be joining us in this conversation. First of all, meet Jose Marinet. He is the founding member of the Ayuda Business Coalition. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you with us. And also meet Mauricio Vivero. He is the executive director of Ayuda. Thanks for joining us. Good to have you with us again. And also meet Alice Lugo. She is a domestic violence attorney with Ayuda.
Good morning.
Great to have you with us. Thanks. Well, first of all, let me ask Mauricio Vivero to tell us exactly what Ayuda is.
Well, Ayuda is the Spanish word for help.
Okay.
And that's exactly what we do. For the past 35 years, we've been providing direct legal and social services to immigrants to help them assert their legal rights, protect their legal rights, and become successful Americans.
How big is Ayuda, and what area, geographical area, do you serve?
We serve the entire D.C. region. In the past years, we've really seen growth in terms of immigrants moving out to the faraway suburbs like Loudoun and Prince William. And we have some clients from neighboring states as well. We serve about 4,000 people a year and have a staff of 25 individuals.
Now, when you say protect the legal rights, what range of law? I mean, law is a pretty big area, from civil law to criminal law, constitutional law. What sort of things do you do?
We focus on what we feel is the most pressing legal need right now for recent immigrants, which is immigration law, with a focus on protecting victims of crime. So we represent many children who are here by themselves, victims of human trafficking, victims of domestic violence, and low-income immigrants who want to reunite with their family, become citizens, renew their green cards. For immigrants, the ability to be legal in this country and to be able to work legally and receive a fair wage really is the door to everything else. And that's what we try to focus on.
And what do you do to help those who are not here, quote-unquote, legally, who are undocumented? How do you help them cope with the situation they're in, or do you encourage them not to be here illegally?
Well, many times someone who is undocumented can become documented. It's just a question of status. For example, if you are undocumented and have been a victim of a crime, we can apply for a visa. There are several federal protections, and that person can go from undocumented to documented. So it's a little bit inaccurate to describe someone as undocumented permanently, because one's status can change. And for the person that has no legal option, what we do is try to educate them about what really their options are. And many times that may be returning to their home country, or at least being aware that they don't have a pathway currently.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are the options? I mean, I guess for a lot of people, maybe the only option is to either go back or hide.
Possibly, although, like I said, there are definitely some legal avenues available to people who currently don't have status. For example, we work with a lot of immigrant children who have been abandoned or are here by themselves. If we often go to state court, prove that they are victims of abuse or neglect, and with that, we can go to immigration court and obtain them legal status and completely change their lives, because now they're eligible for everything, and in 5 or 6 years they will become U.S. citizens. So although it's limited, there are avenues that we pursue every day to legalize persons here. Okay.
Some specific crimes, and I'd like to talk about those in a little bit, but first of all, let me ask you to describe a little bit some of the social services that you provide.
Well, what we try to do is combine the legal work with a comprehensive approach. So someone who, for example, is a victim of domestic violence will also need counseling. They may need help finding a shelter. We have an emergency fund for food and clothing. Sometimes victims are starting from scratch because they may have to flee an abusive situation. So we try to provide the counseling, the referral to medical care, to psychological care. We provide counseling for children who've witnessed abuse in the home. So we try to make the family whole and get them to a point where they're going to be self-sufficient, and part of that is providing social services.
Now, do you provide medical care, or do you refer to medical care?
We often pay for it, but we refer it to doctors in our network, or we find volunteer doctors, or we work with health clinics. We become the facilitator so that these clients can get the services they need. And sometimes we work with the government to make sure that they're eligible for those kinds of services.
How big is your staff to do all this?
It's a small staff. We have 25 people and a budget of only $2 million. And so, like many nonprofits, we are working at our hardest to meet this growing need.
How many offices throughout the region? We
have an office in Sterling, Virginia, and a main office in D.C., and we have a small office in El Salvador.
Okay, and I assume you must have volunteers who work with you as well.
We have a lot of volunteer attorneys who really make a difference by taking cases pro bono, and it really leverages what our attorneys like Alice can do in the office.
At any given time, how many clients are you serving?
At any given time, we're serving between 2,000 and 3,000 clients.
Okay. Well, we need to take a break. We got that little introduction out of the way of what exactly Ayuda is, but we'll talk about some specific issues facing Ayuda and immigrants here in this country right after this. Stay with us.